Now, in the middle of my apologetics journey, I didn't reject the gospel anymore as a Muslim because it was illogical. I'd actually accepted the fact that this was true. But I rejected it because it threatened the very foundation I was standing on, identity. And when your identity starts to crack, fear is what fills it, and it takes over. And so if you're trying to share the gospel with somebody coming out of Islam, you're not just preaching the truth of Christ. You're also speaking to somebody who is terrified of losing everything they're standing on. Because fear isn't some surface level thing. It's an identity crisis. And I didn't need more theology past a certain point. I needed security. The real war wasn't, is Jesus true anymore? That was pretty undeniable after going into it. It was, if I leave Islam, who am I? Because my culture was tied to it. My family's legacy was built on it. My sense of value, my honor, my worth, it was all measured by it. And so when I started wrestling with the gospel, it got to a point where I just didn't need to weigh any more facts. I was looking myself in the mirror and asking, will I still belong? Am I going to be abandoned? Will I be alone? Is my family going to curse me? Do my friends still love me? Because it wasn't about doctrine anymore. These are questions as a young 20-year-old that feel like life or death. And most Christians trying to evangelize to me completely missed that part. And the truth was I was trained to perform for love. Islam didn't just tell me what to believe. It trained me to earn this love. I was taught that my self-worth was in my obedience. My hope was in my perfect school record, my personal record of being an upstanding citizen. My safety came from how well I could perform in and outside of the house. Fear was this motivator that kept me in check. So of course I was scared to walk away. Because when your entire self-worth is based on these arbitrary works that are meant to please people instead of God, grace does not feel like freedom. It feels like risk. And it wasn't that I didn't understand the gospel past a certain point. I actually fully understood it. I actually knew it better than some of the Christians. It's that I didn't feel worthy of it. So if somebody had tried to argue me or debate me out of Islam without speaking into that personal fear I had, they would have never touched my heart, just like how God intended to. Okay? So the truth was, I didn't need more conversion. I needed somebody to walk with me. And when my belief system started collapsing, I wasn't looking for debates anymore. I was watching my identity fall apart. I was shedding my old name. I didn't feel like Shah Khan, somebody worthy of carrying the last name Khan. Letting go of a system that raised me. And I had no idea that I would be on the other side like I am today. And that kind of fear, it doesn't need a preacher, and it definitely does not need a sermon. It needs a presence. I didn't need somebody to rush me or throw verses at me like weapons, diffusing everything I knew, crapping on Muhammad, crapping on my faith. I needed somebody to sit in the tension with me, to let me wrestle and remind me that Jesus and the gospel message does not meet the polished, that he will make you polished. He meets the crushed. So there's a spirit that set me free, right? You did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you received the spirit of adoption for the orphan sons and the orphan Muslims. That's in Romans 8:15. I wasn't just leaving a religion. I was walking out of slavery. And part of me was afraid that I'd fall with nobody to catch me. But when I encountered this spirit of adoption that made me feel like a son of the loving Father, I realized this wasn't about a new belief system. It was about stepping into a spiritual family led by a loving, redeeming Heavenly Father. And that was what my heart had been dying for. And so what do you need to be as a Christian if you want to reach people like my former self? You don't need to be a scholar. You need to be an absolute spirit-filled lighthouse. Somebody who radiates rest and joy and security in themselves without striving, without placing your worth in your job or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your career or your family. Love that doesn't shift with performance. It's steadfast. It's always there. Because when I was Muslim, I wasn't just listening to what Christians said about Jesus. I was watching very intently, detailedly, to see if their life looked like something I'd be willing to lose everything for. So if you're a Christian, I need you to hear me. Don't go out trying to convert people. Don't go out with an agenda. Walk them out of fear. Stand with them while they unlearn performance and step into grace. And if you're Muslim and you're wrestling like I was, you are not crazy. Okay? You're not betraying your past. You're being awakened to what the Lord wants you to see. And you don't need to stay afraid anymore. right? Because he who is set free by the Son is free indeed. And so one thing that I really want to hammer in here, guys, is that there's going to be a point when you're walking with Muslims. I don't need you guys to just be throwing out these random debates or TikTok clips or something at these Muslim people. They need community to walk with. And if you're not willing to lay your life down, if you have a heart for Muslims, but you don't have a heart to be there for them in community, to walk with them through their journeys, knowing that they're going to become some of the best friends that you ever have, I would avoid it. I would study it. And I would learn more about them, and I would have more honest conversations without trying to perform or scripture call, or just maybe look at yourself and be a true, steadfast, loving Christian who, when a Muslim person sees you, because you might be the first church they ever see in the entire world, where they're like, oh, that's the true gospel. That's what it took for me. I would sport debate so many Christians thinking that I knew their Bible better than they did, because at one point I did. But those were the lukewarm Christians. I wouldn't even call them following Christ at this point, because nothing in their life is obedient to what Christ calls us to do. And so when you meet a real Christian, and I mean this, like a real Christian, there is something unshakable about their faith, about who they are, about the joy inside of them that is tied to nothing of this earthly world. And that is who you need to become, because then Muslims will see you and they will seek you out, because they'll be banging their broken faith against yours, and you will have a chance to restore them as Jesus did every other sinner. And so if you guys really feel called to evangelize, I'm making this series on how to share the gospel with Muslims, because yes, there is going to be a deep, like, mental apologetic cycle of knowledge and insight that you're going to need to do. You're going to need to question their beliefs, sure. But the next part, and this is the hardest part, and this is why so many Muslims leave the Christian faith after converting, because they don't have the support system necessary for them to really maintain this kind of level of faith in their lives. And the truth is because we need to be the kind of people that can have that longevity for them and show them a life that crushes their fear. If you can show a Muslim guy, hey, here's a life for you that you can step into with the gospel and know in full power and full effect that your fear will turn into love, that your performance will turn into sonship, and your rejection will turn into rejuvenation, and this is worth it for you because we're all here doing it together, and that's what a community is, that's what you need to have. That Muslim will come over in a second. Because the belief system that you're going up against, you look at the mosques, and you look at the pride of success that Muslim people have. There's such a smart culture that there's doctors and lawyers and investment bankers all working together on the same mission, and Islamic families are so tight-knit. You have to show them a spiritual family that beats that. And the truth is, it's easy when you're a spirit-filled, on-fire Christian. Because all the Christian guys that I know, the real Christian guys that I knew when I was Muslim, I would look at their life and I would honestly say, I would trade this for that. Because not out of comparison, but because of the fruit of the Spirit that were so evident in their life as they walked every single day. So I want you guys to, once again, just drop some comments. I want to know where you guys are from. I love walking with you guys. This channel, guys, this heart behind this channel is not for me to be like some random preacher on a screen. I hate that, okay? Honestly. I want to walk with you guys in community and show you what it means to be in community, because that's what it took for me. Because when I was converted to Christianity and I didn't have the discipleship, the community, the church scene, or the brothers to pray and walk with me every single day, I became atheist again. And that's when I entered the world and turned to drugs, turned to pornography, turned to women, turned to parties to fill a gap in my hole that really only true discipleship could have filled, because I needed to see how God was experiencing other people and how other people were experiencing God. And when I got extreme clarity on that, because I was rocking with some savage Christians, that is what gave me the fire that I have today. So this video was made, guys, if you want to evangelize and share the gospel with Muslims, please remember, one, you have to be a lighthouse yourself, and two, it can't just be a hit and run. You got to really, really walk with them. So I love you guys. I don't even know what day of the series we're on, 12 or 13. We're doing a 90-day series, a video every single day, sharing this stuff to equip you guys to, one, go from a lukewarm religious person to on fire with God. That is the goal with this channel. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.